So my name is Maria Vukic. I am the VP of Talent Management at Diply, and I have worked here for 2 years. So Diply is a social media publisher, and we are the largest one of those in Canada, and also a Comscore top 10 property, so also have a global presence. We make snackable, entertaining content that I'm sure you've seen on the internet, and we've had some wonderful growth. So the last 2 years, we've doubled both in terms of our revenue and our employee base. You know, I think hiring particularly, like if you don't have the right talent, and if you don't switch out that talent, if that's not sort of a dynamic proposition, there's just no way you're going to execute on any strategy, no matter how good. We've been able to really have a high-touch, customized process because we're still fairly small and our hiring is propulsive, but we've kind of managed to integrate systems and ability tests and structure in the process as we grew. But we also didn't want to lose that human touch, so there's we really paid attention to the design of the process. So for example, candidates will get they'll get personalized emails that actually mimic the type of content that we do. They'll get prep kits that are custom made to what they're interviewing for. So we've kind of, every single step we've broken down so there's a human sort of high touch interaction with the candidate, and we're super fast. We turn around talent quickly. The biggest challenge has been because we've scaled so fast, we've sort of doubled the employee base in the last 2 years, has also been like, how do you keep that quality that you now need to be bringing in and raise the bar all the time on people that we're bringing in? Because as I said, in year 3, you need highly specialized talent and the bar is higher. And how to do that on sort of with still a very lean recruiting team. So we've had to use a lot of systems and a lot of tools to kind of help us out. And gain that advantage. Anything that can automate some of the downtime on some of those activities, whether it's sourcing, whether it's screening resumes, whether it's where we can cut time but not lose out on quality, I think we've demoed it, right? Or we've tried it, or we're planning to try it. There's an experimental budget that we have that we are kind of always dipping our toes into new tech, so we're not sort of late on the uptake, right? So anything that automates our recruiters' time to have more time for those strategic high touch points, that's what we're into. There's machine learning and there's AI. And so machine learning, I think, is very prevalent already. So it's, let's say, when a resume is keyword or a neuro-linguistic process, like you get the keywords and syntax, and then you get a recommendation widget that recommends another candidate. And so those kind of tools where I think there's learning, machine learning, are prevalent. But AI, when they're able to, let's say, that next step, predict which type of candidate is going to be the right one, I feel is still at its inception, and there's like tools are far and few between. And I think that is the most revolutionary change that will happen in the future. And that's something that I think we're trying to dip our toes so we don't kind of miss the train when it does come. But that part is super exciting. We haven't used the chatbot, but I've actually talked to some colleagues that have used chatbots, and I think it's a wonderful idea because I think, as I talked about, if we're trying to achieve a high-touch process and you have a chatbot handling a lot of those in-between interactions where people are asking those road questions, that would be a wonderful way, I'll say, to use a chatbot. Or I've heard other colleagues that use it as like benefits and payroll type thing for bigger organizations. It's like anything that can, in that way, automate and save you some sort of strategic time, I think is a plus. We are highly responsive and, let's say, try to answer almost every tweet within an hour or two, right? And so at some point that becomes impossible unless you have tools like chatbots to sort of help. Likely it'll be another year where we almost double in people as well. And so I think we are. And this AI technology is really interesting, and this year we have been planning to kind of dip our toes and try maybe to integrate it with our ATS, see what happens, and see if we can make some gains, because I think with all of this tech, you don't know unless you try it. Stay away from predictions, because I think it's one of those things you just have to iterate and try what works for you. But I do think it's interesting that you're seeing this movement of like mainstream tech players into HR, right? Where you're seeing Microsoft acquire LinkedIn, and when you're seeing Facebook jobs now and Google jobs, and so I think they've just made a shy first foray, but into that area, all of those players, and I think with the amount of sort of attention and data they wield, it'll be interesting to see how that develops, because that could go in so many directions that we have to watch as talent acquisition. I know everyone says this, but honestly, the people at Dipli are so special. It's a special group of people, and I love coming into work every day. And I think, in general, I think the gain in prominence the talent acquisition has gotten in the last 2 years is really nice. Like, you're bringing value, you're right there at the table, and the value is tangible. You can see these new people making sometimes a game-changing difference for our business, right? So it's wonderful. Like, I love that we've gained in prominence and sort of coming from something from finance that was a bit more prominent than kind of in the beginning being a little bit of is this a support role and am I sitting on the bench, now to being like, no, I'm definitely not sitting on the bench.